Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club, the show that you are powerless to stop.
Unless you turn off your device.
Please don't turn off your device. I'm Mike.
I'm not.
And let's shake this tree and see what comes loose.
Donkey Kong!
It's a lie! This is not the Donkey Kong I crave!
Oh no, did I get the wrong Donkey Kong?
You got the wrong one!
I'm sorry. There's been a mix-up at the factory.
The Barrel Factory?
Yeah. Bluster Kong sent us the wrong Kong.
No! I hate when that happens, when we get the scary candy robot.
I hate Bluster Kong.
Bye!
So this is Donkey Kong, the Saturday Supercade Donkey Kong.
Remember the Saturday Supercade?
It's back in Kong form. So for anybody who doesn't know, we've covered the Saturday Supercade twice already when we looked at the Frogger show and the Q*bert show. Isn't it wild to think that this is from a time when Donkey Kong was on equal footing with Frogger and Q*bert?
Yeah. I was thinking that watching it the entire time, I'm like, wow, Donkey Kong really didn't have much of a plot, did he? He really didn't have much to work with.
I mean, you say that, but I compared to what they did for Frogger and Q*bert, I feel like this was a lot closer.
I will say that it's closer, but was it better than the Frogger Detective Agency or whatever bullshit they were on?
Oh, we'll talk about that at the end. What did you think of the theme song?
Not much.
No, it's very 70s Hanna-Barbera.
Yep.
They didn't make this, but it's very that period.
But that inspires exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, Ruby Spears made this, which I'm, you know, Ruby Spears are a bunch of ex-Hanna-Barbera employees.
It's all they know.
Yeah. They even named themselves using the same naming scheme as Hanna-Barbera, now that I think about it. Take the last names of two guys. So just to put us in the headspace of when this show was released. When this show came out, Nintendo hadn't started making home consoles yet. They only made arcade games and Game & Watch games. That was it. And as far as the Donkey Kong series is concerned, we only had Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.
All we know is that he throws barrel.
Yeah, when they were making this, we didn't even have Mario Brothers yet. Luigi did not exist. He was but a twinkle in Shigeru Miyamoto's eye.
But a twinkle in Mario's eye before Mario budded.
Yeah, they're twin brothers, but Mario was born a couple years earlier.
We use the term loosely in that they came from the same body and soul.
Yeah, before Mario was cloned in a lab to produce his improved clone.
Oh, you're going with improved.
Yeah, Luigi's the improved one. Wario's the failed clone.
That's the toxic runoff that they had to dump into the sewer and it congealed into Wario.
Wait. So now I'm thinking, like, because Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are clones of Big Boss, but they put all of the recessive genes into Liquid so that Solid would be the perfect clone. So now I'm thinking that, like, Mario is Big Boss, Luigi is Solid Snake, and Wario is Liquid Snake.
Dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, Mario Brothers actually did get released before this show came out, but they wouldn't have known about it while they were working on the show. So no Luigi.
Oh, no.
And Donkey Kong 3 was released about a month after this show aired for the first time. So that's where we're at. I'm not going to talk much about the making of Donkey Kong because we've talked about it before.
On the Donkey Kong episode?
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
Wow.
Because I'm not sure if I knew this show existed back when we recorded our first Donkey Kong Country episode.
I didn't know it existed until you said it last week.
Yes, I must have mentioned it when we did Saturday Supercade. You just forgot.
Listen, sometimes when you say words, they don't stick in my brain.
Yeah, sometimes when I say words, you're actually playing Muse Dash while we're recording an episode.
I wish. You would just hear a lot of frantic typing and
I know.
nothing else.
I know if you were actually playing a game while we recorded, I would hear you cussing constantly.
I've never cussed a day in my life, sir. I don't even know the meaning of cuss words.
You've lost several days to cussing and you know it.
Woke up from a cuss bender. The ground is littered with swear words.
This episode aired on September 17th, 1983, the same day as the Frogger episode that we looked at.
Wow, what a wild day.
I believe this followed it, because this is like found footage. It's extremely low quality, which I know is your favorite.
Yes.
But it includes a little bit of the ad bumper preceding this show, and it shows Frogger getting run over and then Donkey Kong picking him up. So I have a feeling it was Frogger, and then this followed on from it.
That would make sense.
This episode is called Mississippi Madness, and can you believe
that it doesn't take place in Mississippi?
Doesn't it?
Aren't they in New Orleans?
Yeah, but New Orleans is on the Mississippi River, right?
That's true. I was thinking the state.
Yeah, I think they were going for Mississippi River rather than Mississippi State. But, you know, now that you mention it, it is pretty funny.
And they spend all of 30 seconds of the runtime in the Mississippi River.
Yeah. Where is the Mississippi? No, sorry. Which state is New Orleans in is the question I meant to ask. That's Louisiana, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know a little bit of US geography.
Me too.
I know the trophy places. No, the question I had was, can you believe that it took two people to write this?
I can, because I feel like they wrote two different episodes and then mashed them together.
Yeah, so this was written by Dwayne Poole, who started his career writing for Grape Ape. And went on to Scooby-Doo and the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla show.
With Godzuki?
I believe it's the one with Godzuki, yeah. I don't know if there is another one. Because I don't know about you, but I was growing up in the period where that was one of the main things on Boomerang every day. They clearly had the rights to the Godzilla and Godzuki show because nobody wanted them. And they would just air it constantly.
I don't know that I ever actually sat down and watched a single episode of that, but
I
for the
definitely
longest
did
time,
not, but the theme
my
song
brother
is
and I,
stuck
yes,
in my
my
head.
brother and I would torment each other with the theme song, particularly
Godzilla.
the end Godzuki.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head in the sky. Godzilla, 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 and Godzuki.
It's the dumbest theme song.
So bad.
I only had access to Cartoon Network at my aunt's house, and basically, like, that show would come on and I would leave the room. And just the theme song would float through the halls, following me. That was my time to, like, go and get snacks and stuff, is when Godzilla was on.
Right.
I don't think I ever actually sat through it. I think I probably would, like, come back into the room after the theme song was done, and I would probably switch over to Nickelodeon or something.
That whole episode was your ad break.
Yeah, basically. Time to move some product.
I might even have time to push some rocks.
Dang. You're gonna push rocks during Godzilla? Bold choice.
If and I can manage.
Should we explain what moving
No.
product and pushing rocks means?
No!
Do you think they can figure it out from context?
Possibly. It's not exactly a secret cipher.
We'll see. Everyone, let us know in the comments what you think moving product and pushing rocks mean.
I definitely think moving product is pretty obvious.
Didn't we have a third one?
The burning of the Library of Alexandria.
That's right. Thank you. These are all words for different intensities of the same thing, just so you know.
Different intensities.
That's going to make it obvious, I feel like. Anyway, he also wrote for Laverne and Shirley in the Army.
I forgot about that.
And the Fonz cartoon as well. This was actually one of the last animated shows that Dwayne Poole wrote for, though.
Oh no.
From the mid-80s onwards, he mostly wrote live-action stuff. And he kept going for a long time. He actually died last year in 2023. And right up until his death, he was still writing. And the last 10 years of his life were spent writing Christmas TV movies.
Oh no, like those Hallmark ones?
Yes. Why is it that they come up in this show so often?
Because it's just a cultural phenomena in general.
But, like, have you noticed that whenever we bring them up, it's never like they did one or two. It's always they spent a decade of their life
I mean,
churning
I feel like
out.
it's the same thing as cozy mystery writers, where it's like they churn them out over and over and over again because they have an audience and they eat it up.
I suppose so. So I remember there was a certain actor in one of our other shows where she basically had just, for the last 10 years, done nothing but romance Christmas movies. I guess there's a market for it.
There sure is.
Anyway, the other writer was Tom Swale, who had mostly worked on the same stuff as Dwayne. I think they must have just been working, they must have found each other and then just kept working together.
A writing team? A writing duo?
Yeah, Tom started out on Land of the Lost and then did a couple of other different things. They first worked together on Janna of the Jungle, which I've never heard of.
Mm-mm.
And then they pretty much worked together, like, consistently afterwards. But Tom's career ended about 20 years before Dwayne's did. He got out.
Yeah, he didn't fall into that bear trap of Christmas movies.
No. So, the show, in the opening, we see Donkey Kong escaping from a circus. And it's him and Pauline on the poster. So, I don't really know what Mario's role is.
Obviously, he's like Pauline's simp. I can't even say boyfriend.
Does he work for the circus? Does he own the circus? I'm not sure. He's not dressed like he owns a circus.
No, he's dressed like Mario.
Yeah. In accurate colors, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Like, he's wearing modern Mario colors, which is rare for this period. Like, usually you would see him with the red overalls at this point. But he's actually wearing blue overalls.
Wow, how modern.
He doesn't look a hell of a lot like Mario, though.
He doesn't sound a thing like Mario.
The characters actually did look pretty accurate to the old flyer. Have you ever seen the old flyer?
Probably not.
Because none of these characters really look like the Mario characters that we're used to. But here, when it comes to this flyer, I do think they're quite close.
Yeah, look at that.
Though in this flyer, Mario's overall and shirt are reversed from what they are in the show.
Yeah.
Got those red overalls on.
Snort! Help! Fight!
What's happening?
Crazy man!
Chills, thrills, test your skills. Call me back, a nuisance back.
Everyone's going ape over Donkey Kong.
The most exciting name in video games. That's him.
Help, help, cries the beautiful maiden as she is dragged up a labyrinth of structural beams by the ominous Donkey Kong. Snort, snort. Foreboding music warns of the eventual doom that awaits the poor girl, lest she somehow be miraculously rescued. This is the most dramatic retelling of Donkey Kong I've ever read, and it's incredible.
But wait, fear not, fair maiden. Little Mario, the carpenter, is in hot pursuit of you this very moment. Oh, he's a carpenter. Because, yeah, he wouldn't become a plumber until Mario Bros. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is in this life.
As little Mario gallantly battles his way up the barriers, he is taunted and teased by Donkey Kong, who brazenly struts back and forth, beating his chest in joyful exuberance at the prospect of having the beautiful girl all to himself. It is your job to get little Mario to the top, for it is there, and only there, that he can send the mighty Donkey Kong to his mortal doom.
Whoa!
Leaving little Mario and the beautiful girl to live happily ever after. Sigh, sigh.
Wow. And that's funny because that promises that you're going to kill Donkey Kong, and there's no way to do that in the game.
Donkey Kong is still going 40 years later.
Every time you reach him, he just gets up, grabs the girl, and runs again, and the game loops indefinitely. So there's probably kids who are like, "No, there must be a way to kill him. It says so on the flyer."
I want to date Pauline.
Strange choice for a Mississippi riverboat to be the first episode for this.
It is, but I just love how when Mario and Pauline discover Donkey Kong, he's just got a job as a dog worker.
Right. Yeah. He has apparently, like, this show doesn't really introduce us to the concept at all. Because I guess I'm old-fashioned or new-fashioned or something. I kind of expect a first episode to be the one that sets up the concept.
I was waiting for it, but it takes a while for it.
I would have expected the first episode to be him actually escaping the circus.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, we are just kind of thrown into this. This has been their life for we don't know how long.
Right, we're thrown in mid-scheme because Mario's already got his Rube Goldberg machine to try and capture Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and for some reason he's decided the place to pin up the plans is in front of the door into the cabin on this public riverboat.
As opposed to, like, the wall next to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he has a plot involving several animals. I didn't write it down. I'm trying to think through in my head what it was. He needed a duck.
Mm-hmm.
The duck would startle a dog, and then the dog would knock over a bucket of water, which would startle a squirrel, which would then run on its hamster wheel and lower the cage onto Donkey Kong. Is that right?
That's correct.
It's a plan.
It sure is. It's a little convoluted.
He needs a lot of animals for it.
Relies on a lot of random chance.
Yeah. I'm not sure what activates the duck?
Mario does.
The duck just knows what to do.
The duck is on Mario's head.
Oh, was that in the plan?
It was not written in the plan, but that's how it unfolds later in the episode. Spoiler alert.
That's a spoiler. Wow. All right.
Well, how else am I supposed to talk about this?
By waiting for the opportune moment.
The opportune moment is now.
Mario, by the way, played by Peter Cullen, who we've talked about a couple times before. I think he's best known as the voice of Optimus Prime, but we know him as Sourpuss in Pac-Man.
Oh my god, Sourpuss!
And he was also Sir Hubert in Dragon's Lair. That was the, like, rival knight guy.
Not nearly as good a character as Sourpuss.
No, definitely that one's a step down. Sourpuss, in my estimation, is the highlight of his career. I don't... Though, you know, considering this is a time when we really had nothing to go on for who Mario is. Fairly serviceable Mario.
Yeah, not bad.
I guess he was the first voice that Mario ever had.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as we talked about it earlier. Because I said he didn't sound much like Mario, but I was like, wait, Mario didn't have a sound.
Yeah, this was the defining... I mean, not the defining voice for Mario, because this one was quite forgotten by time, but...
He's no Charles Martinet.
No, he's no Lou Albano.
No one can ever be him.
He's no Chris Pratt.
Well...
He's no whoever played him in the anime. I don't know, I haven't watched it yet.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Pauline is played by Julie... I don't know if this is Strangis or Strangis or Strangis.
Strangus. I don't know why that sounds so goofy. It's probably correct. Who knows?
I have no idea. She apparently is best known for playing Helen Loomis in Room 222 and Dyna Girl in Electra Woman and Dyna Girl.
Okay.
And Goldie Gold in Goldie Gold and Action Jack. These are all things that are like way before my time. I don't know what they are.
No, me neither. I've heard of Electra Woman and Dyna Girl.
Oh, that's more than I have. The one thing in her credits list that I did recognize is an episode of Batman the Animated Series. There's an episode about... Well, the villain is a character called Baby Doll, who is... she used to be a child star, but she has one of those disorders where her body never really grew. So she still looks like a child star. And she, I guess, snaps now that she's been out of the spotlight for a long time, and she kidnaps the people who used to play her family and tries to, like, force them to keep living like they're a family.
That's fun.
And Julie here played the older sister actress in that episode.
Cool.
It's a good episode. I like that one.
I believe you.
So these three crooks show up. Who plays them? I don't know.
Okay.
Their names are Colonel Culpepper, Billy Bob, and Belle, but it seems like they were only credited as additional voices. And this
that's nice.
There's a lot of people credited as additional voices for this show. Because the credits for this show don't just cover Donkey Kong, they cover Frogger and Q*bert and Pitfall.
Oh, no.
So I got no idea who played these three, and I spent a good while trying to find out. If anybody knows, please let me know, but the internet sure doesn't.
If you are the voice of Billy Bob, speak up.
Yeah. If you are a 70-year-old actor who once played Colonel Culpepper in an episode of Donkey Kong.
Tell us all about it.
Might be even older than 70, to be honest. If you are old enough to be playing a Southern gentleman in the 80s. Anyway, these are like the most Southern names in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Culpepper, Billy Bob, and Belle.
Yeah. They were really hammering it home.
Yeah,
this is the South.
Yeah, but then, like, they're trying to pull an emerald heist of a museum, which felt... like you said, it felt like a different episode.
Yeah. Because, like you were talking about, it really doesn't introduce you to the concept of Donkey Kong and what is going on.
No.
But then we immediately get this emerald heist.
And if this did immediately follow that Frogger episode we watched, that means this is 2 heists in a row on Saturday Supercade.
Raising a generation of criminals.
Because that Frogger episode was like a jewelry heist, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, Billy Bob, what are you doing?
Stealing emeralds.
So yeah, they say that they need to find someone big and dumb to help them steal this emerald. Bigger and dumber than Billy Bob, who is already pretty big and dumb.
But then they choose Donkey Kong, even though Donkey Kong proves to be smarter than, like, everybody in this show.
Yeah, there's a bunch of sailors unloading bananas from the ship. And Pauline notices one of them looks familiar. It's just Donkey Kong with a shirt and pants on.
I mean, I couldn't tell the difference between him and just a big buff sailor.
So Mario slips on a banana peel and then realizes that Donkey Kong is just standing over him, grinning down at him.
Right. It's not the fact that there's an ape, it's the banana peel that gives it away.
Donkey Kong is played by Soupy Sales.
Soupy?
Soupy Sales. Do you know the name Soupy Sales?
No.
I did, but only from a joke in an Old Friends episode.
What?
And the joke in that Old Friends episode was that none of the cast of Friends know who Soupy Sales is. Soupy Sales was apparently a presenter of a 50s and 60s children's comedy show called The Soupy Sales Show.
Okay.
Also known as Lunch with Soupy Sales. He was known for apparently almost every skit, because that's what it was. It was like skits. Sketches, and pretty much every one of them would end with a pie in the face gag, which was his trademark.
Classic.
He bragged about having been hit in the face with about 20,000 pies over the course of his career.
It's a lot of pies.
And apparently they were constantly finding new ways to do it. Apparently he was an artist of the pie in the face gag, always looking for a new angle.
You know what? I respect it.
Me too.
You found his niche.
So his real name is Milton Supman.
Okay.
He was nicknamed Soup Bone by his family. He also had two brothers who were nicknamed Ham Bone and Chicken Bone.
Why?
I don't know. It didn't elaborate on that.
Because they all add flavor to soup?
I guess. And then he started going by Soupy Hines when he became a DJ. I know that it's also a DJ if you run a radio station, but I just pictured him doing like
with a turntable?
Electronic dance. Electronic dance music in like the 1940s.
Blasting Trap House to a bunch of 1940s teens.
Yeah, so he was going by Soupy Hines, but then people thought that, I guess it reminded people too much of Heinz, the actual soup company.
Mm-hmm.
So he later became known as Soupy Sales. And now we know who Soupy Sales was.
And now he's a Donkey Kong.
And now, anytime I see that Friends episode where the joke is supposed to be that nobody knows who Soupy Sales is, I've ruined it because I know who Soupy Sales is.
When do you plan on watching Friends in the near future?
I don't know. It might happen. Who knows where life may take us?
What wild roads we may travel.
I could be, this time next month, I could be living in Greenland as a guy
watching Friends?
Writes subtitles for Friends episodes, which I'm sure already have subtitles in every language known to man, but still.
Considering it's been off the air for like 20 years.
Yeah, and it's one of the world's most successful shows of all time. Yeah, I think there's probably no work subtitling Friends episodes left, but we can dream, Mel. We can all dream. Donkey Kong announces his name.
He does that a lot.
Seems
to be his thing.
And I am fairly certain they only recorded it once and then just used the same recording every time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he does it the same way every time he does it. Donkey Kong! He's like a Pokemon.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Good.
But then we find out he actually can speak a little bit more than just his name.
Oh, he can speak mostly complete sentences, yeah.
Yeah, he just chooses not to. Just likes to have a war cry.
He produces a rope from the air and climbs it.
Yeah.
And that's how the crooks find out that he's a trained circus ape, because how else could that be possible?
Right, and what other conclusion could you draw from that?
Yeah. I did like, so this is where Mario gives chase. And
Yes.
immediately Pauline warns him not to let anything happen to Donkey Kong. So we learn here that she is more invested in Donkey Kong's safety than she is in Mario's.
Right.
And I quite liked the dynamic here of this show where neither Mario nor Donkey Kong is exactly the hero or the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't really a hero or a villain in this show. Donkey Kong, you could say, is the antagonist, but he's not bad. He's not doing bad stuff on purpose. He just wants to live his life.
Right, he wants to be free.
And Mario almost feels more like the antagonist. Although he's like, I guess, the hero of the show. We don't really want him to succeed.
No. Like, this whole time I kept thinking it was like a Looney Tunes where just goofy plots help Donkey Kong get away.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
It is funny that, like, I don't know, I just found it interesting how the show, you don't see many shows set up like this where you're not exactly rooting. You're not rooting for either side to win necessarily.
Right.
You're just kind of rooting for the status quo to continue.
You're rooting for Donkey Kong's freedom, but not for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. You're just rooting for this fast to continue as long as possible.
You're rooting for the barrels.
So yeah, speaking of which, this is where Donkey Kong starts throwing barrels down the stairs at Mario. I don't know why there are so many stairs on a steamboat, but you know.
I didn't even realize that that's where this was taking place for the longest time. Because there's so many stairs!
Yeah. Yeah, Mario somehow gets on a seesaw that's there, which DK uses to catapult him through a barrel. And the bit of animation where Mario shakes his head after being sent flying through the barrel is the best piece of animation in this whole in all of Saturday Supercade that we've watched so far.
That's a hot take.
It's only a moment, but it's little bits like that make me remember that there are actual people animating this,
right?
Who are like wanna be doing animation.
And then they get stuck working on Donkey Kong.
Yeah, like they're probably doing their best with the time that they've got. And then just every now and then there'll be a shot like this where it's quite a simple shot and they clearly had more than enough time for it, so they've actually put their heart into it, you know?
Yeah.
I bet nobody ever thinks about the animators on Saturday Supercade, but...
They don't even think about the voice actors. 90% of them are additional voices.
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah, unless it's a recurring character, they're pretty much all credited as additional voices, so...
We're only here for Donkey Kong. We don't care how this show was put together.
Somehow Mario ended up in the river, right? I'm not sure. Did DK just throw him down there?
Yeah, he just kind of fell through the barrel.
Oh, good.
Good.
Well, he's caught a lot of fish.
He has. Doesn't really do anything with them, but he's got them.
He could have quit his circus job and just sold fish.
We don't even know if he has a circus job.
That's
as far
true.
as we know, he's a dog catcher.
That's right. Like, is he working for the circus? Is he just a contractor who's been hired because Donkey Kong got loose? We are not told any of this. I want to know.
A contractor that's been hired because he has the biggest dog net.
Pauline throws Mario a line, and then Donkey Kong starts running on the paddle wheel at the back of the boat to make it go faster.
Right.
That was wacky.
It was a little wacky. Sends Mario flying through a banner.
Yeah, this is how we learn that they're in New Orleans, because the banner says so.
Yep. Otherwise, we would have no idea that this took place on the Mississippi River.
Except for the title, yeah. I mean, I guess it's a big old steamer paddle boat, but...
Yeah, but it's also a cartoon. I don't rely on them for accuracy.
Yeah, like, did Steamboat Willie take place on the Mississippi? I don't know. Probably. I actually don't know if those boats exist anywhere else outside of Disneyland. Like, I've only ever seen them in things set on the Mississippi and at Disneyland. The only place I've seen them in real life is at Disneyland.
I mean, they have to exist somewhere in real life. It's not a concept devised by Disney himself.
No, I know that they exist on the Mississippi River as well. I just don't know if there are other rivers where they exist.
I see.
Get back to me. Any non-Mississippians who own a steamer boat and are listening to our show.
What are you doing off your plantation?
No, that is the Mississippi.
Yeah, but if they have the steamer boat off of the Mississippi.
Oh, I see, right. Get back, the sugar needs tending.
The strong must defend the sweet.
So the crooks have been watching all this. They decide to get Donkey Kong to help them steal the emerald using Belle's feminine wiles.
Right, I don't understand how they came to the conclusion that Donkey Kong likes women when he has shown no interest in a single woman this entire episode.
Oh, he just has a hunch. Colonel Culpepper has a hunch. And did you see the way his eye grew when he pointed at it?
I did.
Cause I suspect our 8-foot fugitive has an eye for the ladies.
That's how you know.
That eye-poppin' hunch.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a bit weird that they assume that his weak spot is human women out of nowhere.
When he spent the whole time running from one?
Yeah, but, you know, she's just looking for child support payments, maybe. Donkey Kong Jr. had to come from somewhere, Mel.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Probably not a human woman.
You don't know. You can't know that.
I don't know. I don't know.
In the Mario universe, babies are dropped off by the stork, so anything is possible.
That's true. We don't know where Bowser Jr. came from.
That's true. According to Miyamoto, he's the mother, so...
Miyamoto's the mother?
That's what he said when he was asked, yeah.
I love that. I love that for them.
Me too. Everybody just took it as a silly joke, but what if Miyamoto, like, that's actually his fan fiction? It turns out that all this time Miyamoto's been shipping himself with Bowser.
He's the love child of me and Bowser. It came from a stork. I never carried him to term, but he is our son.
He's got tons of fan art of him and Bowser locked in passionate embraces.
Framed pictures of Bowser Jr. all over the house.
Miyamoto.
What a wacky guy. What a silly little man.
What a life we've created for him.
He did it to himself.
So Pauline finds Mario in a crate of tires, and they head out to look for DK some more. But DK, actually, this is like the smartest thing anyone does in this whole episode, because as Mario and Pauline are heading into New Orleans to look for DK, he is actually trying to sneak back on the boat behind them.
Right, he does the cartoon tiptoe and everything.
Yeah.
I'll smart him again.
It only fails because he's stopped by Colonel Culpepper, and then he introduces him to Belle, and Donkey Kong is taken with her immediately.
For some reason.
So they go into the warehouse to discuss business. Where the hell is Billy Bob?
I don't know.
Why was he even in this episode? He's so unnecessary.
I was just thinking that. Like, Belle only exists to be a woman for Donkey Kong to be momentarily infatuated with, and then she's gone the rest of the episode, and Billy Bob is even less of a point.
Yeah, that's true. Like, even Belle is superfluous from this point onwards, really.
Yeah.
But Billy Bob didn't do a dang thing. He's just set dressing.
He's just inferior to Donkey Kong.
Yeah. We abruptly cut to the museum, where they are sending Donkey Kong in to get the emerald. I wonder if there was like a miscommunication and they thought they had a 20-minute episode. And then they were like, wait, it's only 15. God dang.
We gotta mash these two together.
Oh, right. Like, you think they had 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm saying it doesn't even feel like one complete one.
True. And yet we get 2 scenes of Donkey Kong throwing things down the stairs at Mario.
Well, yeah, it's like the only thing he does in the game, so they...
Right, it's the only canonical idea of Donkey Kong we have.
So he drops in from above to get the emerald, and luckily, the 4 guards guarding the emerald are arranged in such a way that none of them can see the emerald.
They are all facing the cardinal directions away from the emerald.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong just drops in unbothered.
Just picks it up. And the only reason he doesn't get away with it is because at that moment, on a hunch, Mario heads into the museum and they spot him.
Literally on a hunch. There is nothing that directs them to this choice.
No, nothing at all. Pauline is just casually worrying that something could happen if Donkey Kong fell into the hands of bad people. And that's like they don't portray DK as a villain. I guess I already talked about it.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we know now that Donkey Kong isn't a villain, but I feel like at the time.
Yeah, at the time this is like Hays Code good versus evil.
Yeah. It's almost refreshing that they didn't make Donkey Kong they went for like comedy doofus rather than the bad guy kidnapping the woman, which is what I would have expected from this show.
He didn't even kidnap Belle once. It's just Pauline.
Yeah, and the thing is, they have like a prior relationship.
Yeah.
And she likes him.
Yeah, he never hurts her.
No, she sees him with the emerald. She tells him to put it back and he says okay. And the only reason he doesn't put it back is because that's the point when the guards notice him. And I guess they think that he's trying to attack Pauline and steal the gem.
Unclear.
It seemed like he grabbed her and ran away with her because he thought that they were gonna hurt her or something.
Yeah. Like, it's never to endanger her.
No, it felt like he was trying to protect her from the guards.
Yeah, he just puts her on a shelf and gets her out of the way.
Yeah. But apparently he still has the emerald. I only knew this because the guards announced it. You couldn't really tell.
And because he later has it in his hand, but otherwise, no.
But she told him to put it back and he said okay, so I thought he put it back.
Me too.
But apparently he still has it. Because the guards say so.
The guards say so, and so does Colonel Culpepper, who is watching from a distance, and he's like, that monkey's got the emerald.
Watching from a distance inside the museum, by the way.
He wasn't inside the museum.
Was he not? I thought he was on an upper floor suddenly.
No, he was out on the street with Doofus and Dingus.
So he was just yelling it from outside the building?
Donkey Kong is making his escape and, like, jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
No, not yet. Not yet, he's not. To begin with, he's just throwing columns at Mario down the stairs.
Oh, you're right. He is in there.
Yeah, I
He's
swear.
down below.
Colonel Culpepper is in the museum for this moment.
He is. You're right.
He must have just got tired of waiting. He's like, oh, I'm tired of waiting. I'm going in there to see how that jewel heist is going. And then he walks in and then in full view of everyone just shouts, that monkey's got my gem that I told him to steal for me.
And the guards are like, it's the monkey, kill him!
He's got the emerald.
He's got $1 million. He's got Pauline.
They had one shot that was laid out just like the game where he's climbing the ladder and the barrels are rolling down the stairs towards him.
Mm-hmm.
But the barrels destroy the ladder, which doesn't happen in the game, but was a decent enough gag, I thought. But yeah, this Donkey Kong swings from the chandelier, he grabs Pauline again, and then he takes her out the skylight, and that's when they're hopping across the rooftops.
Yeah, and that's when the Colonel's back outside.
Yeah, and they run off to get their... I can't remember what they called it. They had some kind of silly name for it, but it was clear that it was a swamp boat, just from the name.
Ready the swamp buggy.
So now, Donkey Kong and Pauline are hiding in the swamp.
Literally in the swamp.
Yeah, using like reeds to breathe. I love how Mario is like, if I were a gorilla with a girl and an emerald, in the state of Louisiana, where would I go? And immediately he goes to the swamp.
The swamp, clearly.
Obviously. Man, I got a girl on my arm and $1 million in my pocket. I'm going to the swamp, baby.
I'm gonna go hide in the water.
Pauline tells Donkey Kong that they can't hide in the swamp forever, and she suggests they go back to the circus because eventually Mario's going to find them anyway.
I did like this part because it was so stupid.
Yes, Mario shows up right then, triggers his convoluted trap from the very beginning of the episode.
Before that even.
Oh.
Like, we hear Mario, because Pauline says that Mario's gonna hurry up and catch them. And Mario off screen goes, he already has. And the screen pans over and we see a duck perched on top of this weird plant. And Pauline goes something like, I'm not gonna believe a duck. And
You know Mario's going to find you.
He already has, Pauline.
You expect me to take a duck's word for that?
I forgot about that.
And then underneath is Mario with a duck on his head.
Yeah, she's so mad about that duck interjecting.
And then, even better, it's part of his Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, they did. Oh, you know what? I forgot as well. They did, when they were in the museum, they established that Pauline is Donkey Kong's trainer.
Yes.
Which definitely isn't the case in the game, but makes some sense.
Right.
So glad they waited half the episode to establish it.
Yeah, but we find out at least.
Yeah, eventually. So yeah, we watched the trap play out exactly as Mario said it would, and it looks like it's actually gonna work.
Which is wild that he had it set up to go off directly where Donkey Kong decided to hide underwater.
Yeah, he already knew that that's where DK was gonna go.
Right, because he knew how to think like a monkey with a girl and an emerald.
Yeah, you're right. He's set these traps up across all of Louisiana, just in case. It's like, okay, if Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline in New Orleans and has an emerald, this is where he'll go. But if it's a ruby, it's going to be over here.
These are the possible zones he can spawn in.
Depending on what's in his drop table. So the only reason Mario's trap doesn't work is because the bad guys show up in their fan boat and crash into it. They get the gem, but they also get caught by Mario's trap. And the cops, like 3 cops, immediately just slide into frame.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you did it! You caught the crooks! And Mario's like, well, I didn't want the crooks!
I want the monkey!
But Donkey Kong is gone. That's it. They missed their chance.
He's gone and he's flipped a sign to make it a bus stop. And he's gotten on the bus.
Yeah, he gets on the bus. Everyone else gets off. And then he just kind of peels the top open like it's a sardine can. And drives away into the sunset with his feet. I did really like that image of him with his hands behind his head and his feet on the steering wheel.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And that's the end.
That's it.
That's it. No more. Well, I mean, except for all the other episodes.
How many episodes are there?
This got 2 seasons, but I think there's only like 10 episodes a season.
That's more than I was expecting.
Yeah. There's also the Donkey Kong Jr. show on here as well.
Oh.
Saturday Supercade had its own separate segment for Donkey Kong Jr. So how about that?
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Not with the show, but for its tenacity.
I do know as well, you know, I said that Donkey Kong 3 came out like a month after this aired.
Yeah.
In the second season, there is an episode that uses characters from Donkey Kong 3, so...
Ooh.
So we will eventually be looking at that.
We'll have to squeeze it in between viewings of the superior Donkey Kong.
Oh, of course. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you stop watching Donkey Kong Country.
You couldn't if you tried.
Many have tried. I believe it's the reason you agreed to do this show, isn't it?
Just to watch Donkey Kong.
Yeah, just to have an excuse.
Yeah, I can't be caught dead watching that on my own. But if I'm doing it for a podcast, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a tax write-off.
All bets are off in that case. So, of the Saturday Supercade shows we've watched up to this point, this one to me felt the most related to its game.
Yes.
That's not because it's extremely related to the game.
But it's tangentially related.
And the other two were not.
No, not even close.
I wonder if that's maybe just because Donkey Kong has a slightly stronger premise than Frogger or Q*bert do.
Probably.
I think there's more you can do with a guy trying to rescue his girlfriend from a barrel-throwing ape than there is that you can do with a frog crossing the road or whatever the hell was going on in Q*bert.
Yeah, but you didn't have to put him in a 50s diner.
Well, we talked about how they had a better premise and then they got tossed out.
We're doing Happy Days again.
Yeah, but I do know that the Donkey Kong Jr. show is about as related to the Donkey Kong Jr. game as the Frogger show was to Frogger.
Oh, no.
I can't wait for you to see that. I didn't hate this one.
I didn't hate it.
It started out feeling very generic 80s cartoon, and I definitely think the whole, like, gem heist thing was super, we don't have any ideas right off the bat.
Right.
But the way the Donkey Kong characters themselves were handled and the way stuff between them plays out, I think if I was a kid in 1983, pre-Donkey Kong Country, pre-Mario Brothers, and this was what they put on as like an adaptation of my favorite arcade game, I think I'd be satisfied with it.
It's passable.
I think I could... with none of the information that we have now, I think I could accept this as canon at the time,
Yeah.
With just Donkey Kong 1 and 2. Or with just Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. to work from. I could believe that this is what they were.
I do think it's probably my favorite of the ones that we've looked at so far.
Yeah. Of Saturday Supercade, you mean?
Yeah. No, of all cartoons that we watched.
my favorite video game show.
Pokemon, stupid. It's all about Donkey Kong.
I just want to watch these episodes over and over again. Yeah, let me look up how many there were, because that is the kind of thing I usually say, isn't it?
Yeah.
19 episodes.
All right.
I don't know how many of them are lost. Probably some, but episode 8 apparently is called Circus Days. That feels like that should be the first one.
Right, were these aired out of order?
I wonder. Maybe that was supposed to be the first one. That's also the one with the most writers involved. We'll come back and look at that one at some point. Maybe that gives us our premise.
Yeah.
But we watched the first one that was aired, at least. We'll see. I bet it's just... Because the thing is, what we've discovered with a lot of these is that they tried their best to make sure that viewing order didn't matter.
Yeah.
And what that means for a lot of them is that there's no real explanation for any of the things happening.
Right.
They just kind of throw you in and hope that you'll pick it up.
And I did.
Did you? I don't know.
Kind of.
We still don't really know what Mario's role is in all this.
That's true. You can piece together enough to... It's serviceable.
Yeah. Plots typically centered on them encountering crime, with the villains conning the slow-witted Donkey Kong into doing their work, and Mario and Pauline exposing the truth. After Mario and Pauline reveal the truth to Donkey Kong, the three of them team up to stop the antagonist's plans, followed by Donkey Kong evading Mario and Pauline again. So we can assume this is basically how every episode plays out.
Why are there so many con men in the world of Donkey Kong?
And why is Donkey Kong always perfect for their plan?
How many plans involve getting a freakish ape to do your bidding.
Oh, man, if only I had a circus ape. Maybe this is like the quicksand thing, you know? Maybe circus apes were just more prevalent in generations before ours.
Circus apes, quicksand, all those things that died out before our time.
Yeah, what was the other thing? There was something else recently where it was like cartoons really made us think it was going to be a bigger part of life than it turned out to be.
I'm sure there's a ton of things, but it's not.
No, quicksand is the big one, I feel like.
Yes, for sure.
And it turns out that in real life, quicksand isn't even... I mean, it's a problem, but not on its own.
Right.
Usually the problem with quicksand is starvation or drowning from something else that comes in afterwards. Because I think I read that in actual quicksand, you can never sink beyond like 50% of your body weight.
Huh.
So you'll always be left sticking out of it. The problem is that you're trapped and you can't get out.
Right, something's gonna come eat your face.
Yeah, it's not that you're going to sink fully under it like the cartoons make it look like.
Are you telling me that Castlevania Portrait of Ruin lied to me?
I guess
and I
it did.
cannot access the rest of the level by falling through the quicksand?
Well, that might be different if there's a cave underneath.
What if there is a cave underneath?
Then you probably fall through.
Cool.
But I'm saying that Mario 64 lied to us.
Oh, the quicksand in Mario 64 was terrifying.
I'm starting to think that Mario 64 might not have been 100% true to real life.
But what about that time you and I flew into the pyramid and fought those giant hands?
What about that time I mashed my face against the invisible wall until I was dead and then flew around as a corpse?
That was pretty fun, yeah. Or that time we dropped a baby penguin over the edge of the world.
Yeah, into the bottomless abyss. That time that I slipped and fell into the bottomless abyss and then woke up lying in front of my painting of a bottomless abyss.
That sounds like a bad horror movie.
Good.
Anyway, Donkey Kong.
Do you want to ask about the legacy?
Yeah, I guess.
There isn't one.
What? You're telling me Colonel Mustard is not in every Mario game?
He should be. For anybody, any of our more modern audience who went and looked at this show may have noticed that Pauline is blonde, and that's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny because to me, like seeing her being blonde, I'm so used to brunette Pauline.
Yeah.
That it was like almost like a shock to the system. But then I was looking back through old artwork and stuff to try and see for myself where these designs came from.
Mm-hmm.
And her in the early games, her hair was all over the place. I think like the original arcade version, she did have brown hair in the sprites.
Mm-hmm.
But then like different versions, she had orange hair and blonde hair and all kinds of different hair colors. But in all of the cabinet art and in all of the merchandise, she was always blonde up until Peach showed up. And then once they had Peach, they needed Pauline to not be blonde to differentiate her.
Right.
So that's when I think like the first time Pauline showed up post Peach was the 1994 Game Boy Donkey Kong. And she just suddenly has the design that she still has to this day. And that was like 11 years after this show. So she was blonde for a while.
Then she started dyeing her hair.
It's so funny to think about how Pauline was like a lost Mario character for such a long time.
And now she's the mayor.
Now she's the mayor. She was in the movie, only briefly, but still.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she is the mayor in the movie. She's the mayor of New York City.
Good for her.
Yeah. It's nice. I think it's nice that she eventually came back.
Yeah. She just disappeared from history once they got a cooler princess.
Yeah, once Mario got a hotter, younger girlfriend.
Whatever, she was off focusing on her political career.
Yeah.
She didn't need Mario getting in the way.
You think that's what it is? Do you think she's the one who left him?
Clearly. She is a determined and motivated woman.
She got elected on her platform of Vegas-style show tunes.
Yeah, it really spoke to the heart and soul of new Donkeyans. New Donkers?
New Donkers is the correct term, yes. Imagine if they had actually worked stuff from this show into Mario Odyssey.
I would rather not.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad there's no legacy.
It's weird to me that this is pre-Thai Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but Thai Donkey Kong in and of himself is a strange thing.
You think?
Yeah.
Do you prefer him without a tie?
No, it's not that it's the tie. It's just the concept of he's got a tie on. He's a new man. He's evolved. He wears ties now.
That's when he became serious business Donkey Kong.
Yet he doesn't even carry around one briefcase full of bananas.
But he put that tie on when he became a father.
That's how you know you're a dad. You wear ties now.
Well, maybe it was a Father's Day gift.
Maybe.
That's a pretty common Father's Day gift, I hear. Well, I think we've squeezed all the blood out of this stone.
I think this is the most anyone has ever talked about the Donkey Kong Supercade cartoon.
How long's it been? An hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, you started before me, apparently.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
There we go. You took it out of my mouth.
Oh, did you want to say it?
No.
Well, then shut up. If you'd like to support our silly, dumb show about dumb, silly things, you can head to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub, where you can find all kinds of things that we cut out of the episodes. Please enjoy our latest clip entitled Pussy Talk.
You know, I was just thinking about that earlier, wondering whatever became of it.
Yeah, well, I
Now
left
I know.
in I left in a part of it because we did a callback to it. I had already cut it out, but then near the end we did a callback to it, and then we were like, "You're gonna have to pay if you want to hear about that." So I did it. I really did it.
You naughty minx. You've turned our Patreon into OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, we might be promising too much with that, but people are gonna think it's gonna sound way sexier than it was.
We've never done anything sexy on this show, and we've watched 2 porns.
We really have.
I was just talking about that the other day. Kevin's like, he made you watch porn? I was like, he didn't make me do anything. But yes, we watched porn.
He made you watch porn. How much power does Kevin think I have?
I don't know. He should know better. You know that no one commands me.
No, I just light the incense and pray you'll show up this week.
You need to have the offering of anime girls or dogs and goldfish crackers.
Arranged in a pentagram.
It's easier with anime girls because they don't move around as much as the puppies.
Or the crackers. Thanks to our current Patreons, our current club VIP members, Jamie Core and Mark Kelly.
Thanks, cool people.
We appreciate you forever.
Trying to think of something funny and my brain just kind of stopped.
Yeah, mine too.
It was buffering.
We have a coffee as well, which we are gonna do something with very soon. We have plans in motion.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, plans in motion, bowels in motion.
Stop talking about bowels in motion.
Okay. Is there anything else to say?
Bye.
Bye. I watched part of the episode once, and didn't finish it, and was only kind of paying attention. So I got to the point where Belle is like seducing Donkey Kong, and I missed the part where Colonel Culpepper invites him into the warehouse. So what I saw was her batting her eyelashes at Donkey Kong, him getting hearts in his eyes, and then her taking him into the warehouse and closing the door, and then just a scene change. And I was like, did Donkey Kong just get laid?
Did Donkey Kong just have sex with a human woman?
In this children's Saturday morning show?
In a nasty, dusty warehouse?
Thank God that's not what actually happened. Or would it have been better if it was?
Ew.
Would it have given us more to talk about?
Oh, we don't need help talking about this stupid show.
That's true. Should we do a clap as well, just in case? I know you hate doing those, but...
Clapping.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
I'm going to clap on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The end. Bye.